They have just introduced a cell phone that you can control without touching the OLED with a huge variety of hand gestures. We are talking about the Realme GT5 Pro. The design of the back looks very similar to a Huawei device, but remember that in this case we are talking about Realme. Let me tell you about the rest of its features. Its screen is 6.78-inch AMOLED display with full HD plus resolution, 2780 by 1264 pixels. In addition, it has a refresh rate that can go from 1 to 144 Hz and supports HDR10 plus content. Plus, its peak brightness, guess how much it is? 4500 nits. An exaggeratedly bright display, although this in some areas and specifically when you're viewing HDR content. This device arrives with Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 and 12 or 16 GB versions of LPDDR5X RAM, and also 256 or 512 GB versions of storage, and even a version with up to a terabyte of storage. In all cases, UFS 4.0. In the photographic section, they are debuting a new sensor from Sony, which is called Lithia LIT808. This sensor is 50 megapixels and the lens comes with f1.69 aperture and optical stabilization. Then we will find the ultra-wide 8 megapixel camera with another Sony sensor and f2.2 aperture, and for the first time in Realme, we see a telephoto camera with optical zoom 3x with 50 megapixels in its sensor, and its aperture is f2.6. In addition to floating prism stabilization, a very innovative stabilization. And in addition to having the 3x optical zoom, they have a 6x optical quality zoom, which is kind of a virtual lens where they will crop the central information of the sensor. So it also comes very well endowed in cameras. The front-facing camera is a 302 megapixel with f2.4 aperture, and the battery is 5400 milliamps with support for Super VOOC charging of 100 watts and also support for wireless charging of 50 watts. It already comes with support for Wi-Fi 7. It does bring stereo speakers, and as I anticipated you, is debuting a new gesture navigation mechanism that has many hand gestures which you can show in front of it. To use the device had released something similar in terms of gestures, but this looks much more advanced, with a huge variety of gestures that you can to lock the device, to unlock it, to navigate between system areas, and many other things more. Its price for China is 3,399 yuan, which is approximately $460, although remember that the prices here are not the same as over there. There is no doubt that it is one of the most attractive devices in the high end. Let's also consider that it has a huge vapor chamber to cool this processor that we have already seen in action, and it is too powerful.